Hi guys, it's Carissa. I came out on the other side of my very stressful day just fine, just like I thought I would. Um, I do still have a few loose ends to tie up, but for the most part, I've got everything resolved, and so I feel pretty good about it. I started the morning off at my follicle scan, and Mike left yesterday and had plane trouble and finally made it to his destination several hours late, but he got there around 11 o'clock at night. And I was kind of having trouble sleeping until I knew he was there and safe. Um, and I do usually have trouble sleeping when he's gone anyway. He used to travel for work. When we first got married, he'd be gone for 1 or 2 weeks at a time, and it used to be really hard on me. It was hard to be alone. You know, I'd never lived alone before, and it was just, that's why I ended up getting a cat at first, because I was always a dog person. So now we have plenty of pets now to keep me company, but I just wanted to make sure he was there and at his hotel and safe, and he called me and said he was. And then this morning I had to get up around 5 to be ready for my follicle scan on time, or so I thought. For some reason, I talked myself into thinking that it was at 7 o'clock. But I had to leave the house at 7:30. So I don't know how that happened. But it wasn't until it was actually 7 o'clock, and I was like, why am I trying to leave now? And I was exhausted. It was like I was in a fog. It was like I wasn't even there. So I go to my follicle scan, and the room that they put me in was so warm. It's one of those rooms that if they don't turn the heat on time, the room is a little bit chilly. But to me, that's fine. I don't mind a cool room. But sometimes you go in there and it's like so hot that my contact lenses feel like they're shrinking on my eyeball. Well, the combination of getting up really early and feeling stressed and all of that, and then finally being in this really warm room and laying on a table, I was falling asleep during my scan. And I don't know if she noticed or not, but at one point I swear I started to snore. But she was taking a long time, and it took her forever to find my lining. It took her forever to find my right ovary. And my left ovary looked like she was trying to see it through a piece of tissue paper or wax paper. So I was like, all right, now it's serious. I need to try and empty my bowels because this is going to be ridiculous if I don't. And I think that that's 90% of the reason. The rest of it is that sometimes I can tell the settings on the machine need to be tweaked a little bit. Like it was a little too dark and a little too enlarged, but you know, I don't feel like I don't want to say anything because I don't know how to use those machines, but I can just tell that if she adjusted the settings, it would be better. At one point she did, and it seemed to make it worse, but she seemed to think she could see things better, but it was a little frustrating. And I don't know if you've ever had this happen before, but I'm laying there and internally I'm just screaming, someone else, bring in someone else, anyone else. I can't lay here forever, because if I'm there for too long, my legs start to get like noodly, and they start to they're like butterfly wings. They start to shake. And boy, was she scanning me for a long time. I was in that room for at least a half hour. Now, here's my other issue. I was not awake enough to know, but I'm almost positive that she misread a lot of the follicles, because there were sections where she measured it as 1, but I could swear it looked like 2, almost like a heart with a rounded off bottom. You know, like there wasn't a point at the bottom, but you could see like 2 bumps on one side. And to me, that would be like 2 3s, or like a 3 and a 4 instead of 1 6, you know? So for the parts of it that I was awake for, I was seeing very, very little, and it was looking super disappointing. And at the end of the scan, she basically went over the entire list and said that it looks like right now I have 10 follicles. That's okay if that's the case. That's okay, but that's the exact same number that they thought I had last time. And that means I am basically in the same position right now as I was last time. So I am a little bit stressed about that, but there's nothing I can do about it. And all I can hope is that some of those follicles were smaller ones and they will get bigger. So I I can't even worry about that. I can't even give that a second thought, really, because what am I going to do? If that's all I have, that's all I have, you know? So I go back on Wednesday and we'll see how things look. And hopefully at one point it all just kind of jumps up, because I know that that does happen sometimes. The good news is if I only have 10, they're all right in line with each other. I had some that were a little over 5.5. And then the biggest ones were like 7.8. So they're all under 8 right now. And whether or not they're all the true sizes that they were measured at, I really can't say, but it does make me nervous, because even if that's the case, then that means they seem to be growing really slowly. And I don't know, I guess I can't worry about it. And it doesn't stress me out or anything. Just talking to you guys about it right now and telling you what's happening, those are my thoughts, but I'm not please don't think I'm sitting around like, what am I going to do? My follicles are too small. I'm not even thinking like that. I guess I'm just like, all right, well, that kind of stinks. We'll just see what it's like on Wednesday. And just hope look, I know 10 is a good number compared to what some people come up with. I just was expecting more, because that's what this new protocol is supposed to produce. That's what we're hoping for, you know? So after that, I drove straight to my primary physician's office, because it's on the way home, and they don't answer their phones until 9. But I know that they have appointments earlier than that. So I knew I could walk in there and find out when my appointment was, but I couldn't call them, you know? And if my appointment was right at 9, then I would have been late, you know? So I went in and she said that it was at 11. So I went home and just relaxed and got a few things done, and went to the grocery store and bought milk of magnesia, because I can't find mine from last time anywhere. I don't know if I used it up or if Mike threw it away or something, but I bought more because I thought, well, I'm going to have to use this between now and Wednesday to hopefully be able to see my left ovary better, because that's usually the one we can see no problem, and it was really hard to read. So I got that to prepare myself with that. And of course, in my primary doctor's office, I wait forever. I love her, so I'll wait for her. But I waited for almost an hour before my appointment. And then she went over all of my blood work, and my blood work came back. She said, your blood work came back as if we had put you on cholesterol medication. Your blood work improved so much since the last time you had it drawn for my last physical. That it's really impressive. And here I was stressing so much about my numbers, and she gave me a big list of everything that we drew, and I only just did that a few days ago, so it's current. And that was a huge sigh of relief, and reminds me that I truly worry over far too much, and that's why I don't go on WebMD, and that's why, I have to be careful, because I can make myself sick just thinking about it. So we went over just regular medications, and she said that she wanted to increase my blood pressure medication. She said in anticipation for potential pregnancy, she wants to raise the medication that I would be on, and then eventually, if things go well, I would raise it more and then drop off the other one that I've been taking, just to be safe. So that was the only adjustment she made, and then I had her look at the mole. Now, it didn't dawn on me that I could ask her about it for some reason at first. I thought that I would for sure have to see the dermatologist, but she did bring up moles. She said that I didn't really have any on my back, but wanted me to have Mike look and check for them whenever I think to. And I said, well, speaking of that, I have one that my reproductive specialist wants you to see. So she looked at it, and she looked at it for 2 seconds. She's like, oh yeah, that's a blah, 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 blah. I don't remember what she called it. And she said, and I suspect it's always been there. It always will be there. It's not blue or green in color, and it isn't a strange shape. She said it's perfectly fine, and just dismissed it just like that. And that was a huge relief. So hopefully I wasn't supposed to get a note about that or anything, but that was nice. That was really nice to hear. And I had a good visit. I had a really nice appointment. So the only problem I have now, this is my next hurdle, and I don't know if I said this in my last video. Oh gosh, this is getting so long. But the doctor that I get my metformin from is my gynecologist, and he is the one who was trying to force me to have weight loss surgery. He's the one that once I told him that it was not something I desired to do, he seemed really nasty and was like, well, then what can I do for you? And I wanted to be like, I still need a gynecologist. Like, I was here for more than just whatever your agenda is. And so now I'm at the point, they don't refill them. If the pharmacy calls and asks for a refill, they say, no, the patient has to call. And then when you call, they say, usually, you can't get a refill till you're seen again. Well, I can't stop taking it. I'm in the middle of a treatment, and I only have 2 days, tonight and tomorrow. I only have 2 doses left. So I highly doubt they'll get me in between now and then. So I'm dreading that phone call. She didn't call me back today, which I thought was rude because I spoke to her twice. And the first time she said, oh, I couldn't find you because I was looking under Teresa. Well, now that you know my name, can you please help me? I don't know. She just... So I feel like I should really actively look for another gynecologist. This will be my 4th one in 2 years, and that stinks, but I am going to hopefully try and find someone who is good with PCOS. I don't know what else to do. But I feel like I can't be fishing for my medications, especially maintenance medication that I need. That's just, I know that they probably do it that way to, for liability purposes and things like that, to protect themselves. And I understand that, and I can appreciate that from a business standpoint, but I'm not doing anything reckless. I'm just looking for my medication. So I'm probably gonna have to go somewhere else also, because this man, he's older, and he is very set in his mind that I'm making a huge mistake by not having weight loss surgery, and that I think could affect my interaction with him. So I'm gonna have to try and start looking to do something about that. I wish I could find one I love. I feel like everybody says that they love their doctor. Oh, I love my doctor. But then I would go to some people's doctor because they don't know anything about PCOS, or they don't believe in it, or whatever it is that I've run into in the past. It's always been like the worst case scenario. So I just want to find a gynecologist that I can go to more than twice without feeling like I never want to go back there again. So that's everything. That's all. So I'm gonna go work. I guess I'm gonna work tonight because Mike's not home and I don't really have anything going on. So I'm gonna work, and tomorrow I'm going to be drinking a lot of milk and magnesia, and that'll be a fun day. So, but thank you for all of your really nice comments and super supportive messages. You guys are just so awesome, and you make me feel a lot less crazy, because sometimes I can get all stuck in my head and worried about things, regardless of if I know that I'm being over the top. And it's just so nice to hear from you all that I'm not alone in that. So thank you. And hopefully I will have better news for you on my scan on Wednesday. Thank you guys. Bye.